What's up people, I'm Ranch, watching Radiax. Today we'll be looking at Moon Knight Episode 3 breakdown, Easter eggs and details you missed. This is from the new Rockstars official channel. There'll be a link in the description to the original video. You can head over there and you can like the original video, and you can also subscribe to new Rockstars channel. They put out some really amazing stuff. While you're liking and subscribing, you can vote this video up to let YouTube know that I'm doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to my channel so you know when other Moon Knight related reactions are up. Alright, let's watch it.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. It's me, MT, and this
He's hosting this one.
episode 3 that made my mind melt, mate. Like, oh my days, oh my moon gods, what is going on? Like, guys, are you seeing what I'm seeing right now? Do you know the possible ramifications that the events of this episode could mean for the future of the MCU? Guys, the entire planet went back in time 2,000 years.
It did.
Sorry my voice is like this, but this is a big deal. All right, I'm gonna get into what this huge event could mean for the MCU a little bit later, but for now, let us get into all the juicy hidden details that you missed from this visually incredible entry in Steve.
Let's do it.
Wild, mind-bending mystery. The episode starts us off with a cut from black that starts off blurry but gets more clear, revealing Layla having her pictures taken for fake illegal IDs. Like, what a great cinematography choice by series director Mohammed Diab and series director of photography Gregory Middleton, because it feels like the audience is waking up from that blackness to an unfocused blurriness, like eyes first waking up and then revealing Layla in focus, very much intentionally reflecting the overall theme of Marc Spector and Stephen Grant constantly waking up from blackouts, a little bit disoriented themselves. And the fact that we begin outside of Mark or Stephen's point of view, which is rare for the series, tells us that there is some legitimacy to his experience, or that Layla might also be experiencing the delusion. And then we get a look at Layla's fake passport to the Arab Republic of Egypt, with the information being edited on a computer screen by a close family forger friend of Layla's, stating that Layla's full name is actually Layla Abdallah El Faoli, and that she was actually an Egyptian born in Cairo on October 28, 1994, on a day when the moon was actually in its waning crescent phase, I might add, which is quite interesting considering Layla's personal choice of murder jewelry in the form of a shoulder stab.
That's a connection.
Necklace, which might just hint at a possible family connection with the moon god Khonshu himself, as that'd
be really interesting, bring it full circle.
I mean, her middle name Abdallah does mean flower of the god after all, so maybe that's a clue there. And then we learn that this fake passport has an issue date of May 29th, 2019, which heavily implies that herself was not snapped by Thanos in Infinity War, which is also the same case for Marc Spector, as we see from an earlier episode's passport as well. Though we can't 100% take this as a reliable source, since this is a fake ID after all. Again, by a close family friend of the Alpha Hoolies, played by Barbara Rosenblatt, who is no stranger to comic book TV shows, as she recently appeared on the TV show Gotham as Lydia.
I have not seen that.
Owner of Lydia's Bar. While Layla is talking to this forging family friend, she reveals to her that her and Marc Spector once had a place together not 20 minutes away from Stephen's current apartment, where Nemo II is almost assuredly floating at the top of that tank.
Oh, that's dark, but probably,
Which could be a reason why Marc Spector could have chosen this location to hide out in the first place as Stephen Grant, probably to remind him of the love that he's been forced to leave behind as this new Fist of Khonshu. And Layla also reveals that it's been 10 years since her last visit to her homeland of Cairo, which is curious to me considering that she does note later on in the episode that her name isn't the most popular around those parts.
You should be here. Why? Because my name pisses off a few people in Cairo?
So I'm very curious to learn what exactly happened within her family's history to cause all the locals to be giving a family of archaeologists the side eye. I mean, she had to be gone for 10 years for a reason after all. But it might just have to do with Layla's current profession as a type of ancient artifact Robin Hood figure that steals.
Sure, that seems most likely.
Turn those various valuable pieces of history back to their respective cultures, as she believes all of these artifacts to be stolen. A completely not wrong belief also shared by a former antique collector, Killmonger, during his totally normal field trip to a museum that wasn't at all a robbery. And because we know that she deals with black market antiques, this might just mean that she knows the power broker from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Maybe.
Loves antiques and all like paintings and all that stuff. So I do expect Sharon Carter to pop up at some point this season, especially since the pirate country Madripoor is literally name dropped later in the episode.
After Madripoor, I'm sure you two will have a lot to talk about.
Then the two ladies reminisce about Layla's late father, who was an archaeologist that apparently brought his daughter along on all of his digs, possibly alluding to the dead archaeologist hinted at in the last episode. This, of course, sounding extremely similar to the circumstances of comic Marc Spector.
Oh yeah, Erik Voss mentioned this in one of his videos.
Run down by a crazy mercenary named Bushman during Mark's origin story in the comics. But we also learn from this forger lady that Layla's father liked to call Layla his little scarab, possibly linking Layla and her family to the series MacGuffin, the Golden Scarab.
Maybe.
To the greatest treasure of all, Robin Williams in the Cave of Wonders.
No.
Kidding. I mean, the Tomb of Ammit. Like, maybe Layla was always meant to be Ammit's true avatar.
Maybe, sure.
And then we get the Marvel Studios logo coming in, set to some really dope middle.
Yeah, that was awesome.
DJ Kaboo called Enta, which is actually a bop and a dope way to hint at the faithful portrayal of a modern-day Cairo that Moon Knight director Mohamed Diab was extremely keen on delivering, even going as far as calling Egypt's depiction in Hollywood media like, you know, Wonder Woman 19...
I didn't see Wonder Woman 1984.
His words, not mine. I haven't even seen Wonder Woman 1984, so I can't even hate on that movie. And you know what? After watching...
We both know he's seen it.
This episode of Moon Knight captures the vibrant excitement of a 21st century Cairo in a way that I've never seen before personally. This director might just know what he's talking about, because Cairo looks dope as hell in this show. But anyways, when we first meet Arthur Harrow following the Golden Compass to his favorite crocodile queen, I could not help but get the image of Moses guiding his own people through the deserts of Egypt in the Judaic scriptures, with the figure of Moses often being drawn as a prominent figure in red. Much like Arthur Harrow seems to be the only person wearing red amongst this group in the desert. I feel like that's a very intentional design choice. And when we first meet Mark this episode, he's doing exactly what Layla thought he was doing and trying not to get himself killed running around Cairo.
He's probably going to get himself killed running around Cairo.
And when Mark gets into a fight with some dramatic knife fighting guys, with the lead one even tossing a knife up to the camera like some sort of cool guy, giving us a slow-mo zoom in of that knife throw that reminds me.
It was really creepy when he licked it, by the way.
In Ant-Man and the Wasp. But then we get some really dope knife combat back in the MCU since the amazingness that was that winter.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Moons ago, with that alpha thug taking the lead being the actor Jaleel Nasiri, who is showing us some of that amazing knife skill that made.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then we see Mark even pulling a punch before choosing to slap this young thug over here, which sort of calls back to his other personality's conversation with Arthur Harrow's last episode when he brings up his blatant objection to hurting children.
What about a child?
Yeah.
Would she kill a child for something they might do in 30 years?
That just alludes to the fact that both Mark and Steven have the same ideologies because they come from the same brain, basically. I don't know how the ID works, but both of them seem to have the same ideology. I don't know if that's how it works in real life. But that's how they chose to play it in the show.
So even though these two are separate personalities, it seems like they have very similar values.
Yeah.
Take him to the ledge.
He's just a kid.
And after Mark blacks out in the middle of that roof fight, we get our first look at waking up from a personality switch from Mark's perspective, as Steve tries to book it out of Egypt in a cab, which, you know, I don't blame him. He's like, all right, I'm in another country again. Time to go home. I love how I'm just nonchalant about, like, I did it again. Absolutely hilarious when we get the cab driver a little later yelling, "Where's my money?"
Oh, didn't notice that.
To wake up from the actions of an entity that is neither Mark or Steven. A version of Mark
Third identity.
Didn't care about getting the information Mark needed out of these people. He just killed them. Literally everyone but this young boy gets gutted by this mysterious new personality. A personality that I hope and believe to be that of Jake Lockley, the street smart.
I mentioned it in my reaction video.
To this point, been largely absent in the series. And with Moon Knight's mirror cinematography seemingly hinting at 3 personalities hidden inside this one Mark body, this actually may up ending being the case, as that would be extremely comic book accurate. And of course, before this young boy cuts his red scarf to meet the base Amit in the sky, he says,
Yeah.
much like the agents of MCU's first main cult, Hydra, would yell, "Hail Hydra," before they committed suicide.
Hail Hydra!
And then went directly to hell because they were Nazis. But hey, speaking of this boy's scarf, a really interesting design detail that I've been noticing with the Moon Knight series is that a lot of Mark and Steven's enemies seem to be adorned in this particular shade of red. You know, this boy's scarf and hair, the cops that stopped by Steven's house, the goons that shot at Steven in Germany, and also Arthur Harrow himself. Hell, even Midnight Man was wearing red, particularly a shade of red.
That's true.
That of the Scarlet Witch and her chaos magic, which Arthur has hinted could be playing a factor between both him.
I don't think so. now. I don't think Wanda will have to do with Moon Knight. That seems like a very complicated thing to explain. I don't think they'll be going that route. They might. Marvel can do anything, but I really don't think they'll be discussing that in this show. Maybe in a future project that has Moon Knight in it. Maybe even in Doctor Strange, but I don't think they'll be discussing that in this show specifically.
Of his servants choosing this shade could be indicative of some chaos magic influence in the series. But anyways, Khonshu finally gives us some details about how Moon Knight's healing armor is able to give him a healing factor that rivals Wolverine.
Yeah.
With both Mark and Steve proving this by taking several of Peter Quill in Avengers Infinity War when Steve Grant calls time out and tells everyone to chill the F out.
We're all working.
Yeah.
Let's all just like chill the F out.
Everybody stay where you are, chill the F out.
Right.
Anyways, when Mark and Khonshu have their conversation on the cliffside, Khonshu reveals the one thing in the universe that he fears, the wrath of the Council of Gods, which Khonshu later has to face through his avatar inside the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the 7 wonders of the world, which secretly doubles as a council room for the pantheon of Egyptian gods, as 9 seats for each god avatar can be seen. Though only 5 of the 9, Isis, Tefnut, Osiris, Hathor, and Horus show up for Khonshu's trial after he literally moved the moon to make an eclipse to make this meeting even possible.
That was awesome.
But yeah, guys, I don't know about you, but I do not trust Hathor at all.
Me neither.
0%. Not her avatar. Her avatar seems nice. Especially when this flash of white colored light seems to appear over Harrow's head right before Hathor leaves the mind of Yatzil. Check that out. Slow it down. I definitely feel like the goddess Hathor and Harrow are in cahoots. Like, you can't trust nobody with an H in the front of their name in this show.
I don't know about that, but maybe.
That because this goddess of love's love for Khonshu, she could actually be the true villain of this series, trying to create a heaven on earth so her and her banished former lover Khonshu could live together on and look at the stars together forever. Because, like I said, Hathor is the goddess of the sky, and the sky and the moon are always meant to be together no matter what, which could be why Khonshu says that he remembers every night, because he is remembering his love for the sky. But anyways, when the leader of the group, Horus, says,
"You've been banished once for nearly exposing us, Khonshu. And you know we despise your garishness, your showy masks and weapons."
we learn that not only do these gods really have no love for Khonshu, but they're also not ones to have actively violent, flamboyant avatars with moon-themed weapons running around the earth. Very much implying that, for now, Moon Knight is the only avatar of his kind. Though I do suspect that Arthur Harrow will end up becoming the Shadow Knight who is in the comics, and
that looks awesome. I hope that happens. That looks really good.
Abandon mankind because mankind has abandoned worship of them, with Khonshu claiming that all of these gods are living in opulence in a place called the Overvoid, better known in the Marvel Comics as the Celestial Heliopolis, a pocket dimension outside the main Marvel universe where the Ennead be ballin' in paradise, something that both Khonshu and Thor 4's Gore the God Butcher share a problem with.
Oh, that's a connection between the Thor movie and Moon Knight, because till now we haven't gotten any connections to Thor in any way because we haven't seen the trailer yet. Hopefully it comes out sometime next week because we have like zero context to the movie. We only know that Christian Bale is Gore the God Butcher, and that's it. That's all I know about the movie. So I'm glad we're finally getting some connections to the movie in terms of the MCU so we can understand it better.
Do not help mankind out at all. But anyways, when Mark and Layla are on that purple tinted boat ride catching up, we get a tiny look into Mark's struggle with his mental illness, with him telling Layla that he's been struggling with it for a very long time until something happened recently to cause him to lose the control that he's mastered over it over the years. With that something very likely being his first meeting with Khonshu.
Most likely.
With his brain chemistry. And we finally get a look at Gaspard Ulliel's Anton Mogart, also known as Marvel's Midnight Man, a villain in Moon Knight's Rogues Gallery who loved to steal valuable things, not for the money, but simply for the sake of having them. Kind of like the Collector from Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And Mogart earns the title of Midnight Man in the comics simply because of his preference to strike at the dead of night at midnight for all of his crimes. Which is why we see Khonshu saying tick-tock over a clock that just struck midnight at the very
what? I didn't notice that. The show's set design is really cool then, because we had those QR codes that link to Werewolf by Night number 32 and 33. It just looks awesome, and then we have Easter eggs like that too, which is just really cool.
Guys, I'm not sure if you missed this, but it kind of seems like Khonshu, in an effort to, return the stars to the position that they were 2,000 years in the past, when Senfu first marked the tomb of Amit, thought that the only way to do that was to change the sky itself by turning back time, which could be the reason for the beautiful light show at the episode's end. It's literally the stars in the sky going back in time. And how exactly can Khonshu do this?
Gravity? Yeah.
That the moon is heavily associated with, and possibly why Khonshu was able to effortlessly cause an eclipse earlier on in the episode by moving the moon. And guys, if this is the case, and the Earth has been sent 2,000 years into the universe's past, do you guys know what this means? This means that the Infinity Stones are back.
Oh!
Is back, Xandar is back, Hela is back.
Wow, I completely didn't think about all those connections.
The entire universe is just 2,000 years younger.
Oh,
guys,
right.
In my opinion, this is potentially one of the biggest things to happen to the MCU since the snap.
Right, even bigger.
Khonshu turned to stone before he can put this guy back where he found it.
Exactly.
Oh man, can I not wait to see how this could potentially change the entire MCU game for Phase 4, because this is freaking nuts, man.
Yeah.
Freaking nuts. And finally, we end the episode with the revelation that not only did Arthur Harrow truly enjoy hurting in the name of Khonshu, but that Khonshu was the very reason why he chose this weird path of healing, because Khonshu was the one who gave him a taste for blood and destruction. And he even goes as far as to thank the imprisoned Khonshu for his victory to come. And man, Ethan Hawke can act when you forget that he's straight up sassing a statue of a bird for like 60 seconds. But anyways,
all right, that was an excellent breakdown from New Rockstars. MT just pointed out some mind-blowing details with the show. He's right. I mean, he's talking about Xandar being back, about Asgard being back, which is yet another Thor reference. The Infinity Stones are back, which might explain why Doctor Strange is still wearing the Eye of Agamotto. Maybe he has the Time Stone again. He said it's almost as big as the Snap, but I disagree. It's even bigger. I mean, the Infinity Stones being back just completely changes the game again. I don't know if that's what happened. There's a good chance that what Khonshu did was just an illusion. It wasn't really turning back time, but he still technically played with the sky, so the Egyptian gods trapped him. I did talk about the third identity in my episode 3 reaction. Be sure to go check that out if you haven't seen it. But like, if it really is the entire planet going back in time 2,000 years, that just does a lot. It's gonna completely mess up the universe, other than the Multiverse of Madness that's already going around. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be really cool, and I really can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. These next 3 episodes are gonna have so much going on, and I'm super excited for it. Anyways, be sure to like this video to let YouTube know that I'm doing a good job, and subscribe to the channel, get me to 100 subscribers. It would really mean a lot. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.